Hey, what's up? It's your boy DGL7. As you know, I'm interviewing candidates all across the nation. We have independent Congress. We're gathering all the third-party independent candidates. We're organizing for something called the Unified Platform for 22. Honestly, duopoly often tries to control they give us one corporate choice, another corporate choice, both of which are bad for the people. We're trying to put it all together and force them into a discussion. I'm very happy to have a representative from the Independent Party of Delaware on my screen. You could see the email, you could see the website, you could see the phone number. You could contact them. But actually, I have one of the representatives from their organization today with us here right now. In fact, I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's on the phone. That's why we don't have any video. But go ahead, introduce yourself, buddy.
Thank you very much. My name is Wolfgang von Baumgart. My friends call me Wolf. I'm the Secretary General of the Independent Party of Delaware. It's Delaware's fastest growing alternative party, the third largest, fastest growing alternative party in the first state.
That is awesome. I love that, man. So tell me a little bit about how far you guys have gotten. You guys have ballot access, stuff like that? How's it going for y'all?
Ballot access ever since August 29th of 2000. So our 10th election cycle, and it'll be our 20th year, or 22nd year, but we've celebrated our 20th year, and we're rapidly moving into looking into the 22 elections, and we're going to have a nominating convention in September, but we're also going to have another nominating convention in 2022.
Okay.
So, we are a party basically of state government reform. Delaware has been ranked rather high on the corruption scale from various organizations, and we're out to change things. And the two-party system that we have in the United States and in the state of Delaware have failed the public interest miserably. So we need creative alternatives. So rather than cramming preconceived ideology down people's throats, we're a party of methodology. In fact, we'd like to consider ourselves more of a think tank with ballot access rather than a classical political party. That's why we call ourselves a post-political party. And we want to bring about the post-political paradigm that puts more power where it really belongs, and that's in the hands of the people. And in order to do that, people have to realize that the power they have, and one of the greatest powers that they have, is the power of withdrawal. And given the abysmal record of the Republican Party and the Democrat Party in the greater public interest, they seem to create more problems than they claim that they solve, or every time they claim they solve a problem, they create a new one. We need a party of methodology based on science, based on sound economic principles, based on good management, engineering, and other creative things.
Just to let you know, sir, I'm actually, I know that you probably don't like people in the parties. I get it. I myself share a lot of those sentiments. Now, the thing is that I come from kind of like the Tulsi clan, and the Tulsi clan, I felt like, as in terms of the presidential candidates, was the ones who was like most opposed to corruption. So I also work with the Yang Gang. I also work with all the candidates. I actually work with Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party, and I agree with you that corruption is the overall right. It doesn't matter how good your plan is. If you cannot implement that plan, it is worthless. And corruption is a huge problem. I am very, very appreciative of your focus here, and I think it's so essential. I agree with you that this is a top priority, corruption, 100%. By the way, I just have other questions for you. Now, the thing is that, right, you started Independent Party of Delaware, but there's other, right, third-party solutions like Libertarians who are pretty successful, Green Party. Why did you decide to go with Independent Party versus, maybe joining a group that already has national recognition and ballot access in some states?
Well, what happened back in 2000, or before 2000, Dr. Floyd McDowell came up with a state, which is actually...
I'm sorry, you're fading a little bit. I don't know if, you could, I'm so sorry, yeah. You're fading a little bit out.
Gentleman, Dr. Floyd McDowell came up with a state health care plan, and Frank Sims decided to form a new party. They realized that the existing alternative parties were in their infancy, and they weren't getting that much traction. So we started a new party called the Independent Party of Delaware. Now, I did not found the party, but I did give it its name. That's one of the things I actually contributed. It was my first contribution to give it its name, Independent Party of Delaware, because we needed a name that is integrally burned into the American psyche, and independent is up there with Democrat and Republican. Now, other names take about 45 minutes of an hour interview. We wanted a name that was self-explanatory and that people would not forget. And we were actually calling ourselves iPod about 2 years before the iPod came out.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, congratulations, man. It's I guess they decided to hop on the bandwagon and saw a successful name right there. Yeah. And also, like, just with all the podcasts and stuff, I think it's a great name. It gives people a reason to remember it, right? When I meet someone named Steve or Mary, it's easier for me to remember the name than someone named, like, Abdi, right? Yeah, like, that's a rare name, so, like, it stands out more, but I have to remember it. So iPod, that's a great name. But the name is one thing, but the content is huge too. And so tell us a little bit more about what is, besides standing against corruption, what are some, and I think you guys said that you started off a healthcare policy. That's interesting. Yeah? So how do you guys, okay, I was actually one of the national organizers for Medicare for All March, by the way. As you can see on the screen, if you're watching, right, I'm actually Asian American. They booted me for, in the name of fighting white supremacists, yeah, and replaced me with a white guy. That didn't make any sense to me, okay, because I just said Medicare for all, right, not Medicare for all, but not Nazis, right? I just said, whatever, calling weird things, but so on the left-right scale, right, whatever, right, where does iPod fit, or like the healthcare, where do you guys fit for Medicare for all, as in terms of that particular idea?
At the moment, unfortunately, our health care plan was superseded by Obamacare, and not exactly on our front at the moment, but we'd have to modify the Delaware Health Security Act, fine-tune that a little, perhaps bring that back. But in order to do that, we have to elect Independent Party of Delaware candidates. We weren't getting any traction whatsoever with the Democrats and the Republicans, but our party is basically about individual freedom, economic opportunity. We are very big on the preservation of the Constitution of the United States, so we believe in limited government.
Yeah.
Power in the hands of the people where it ultimately belongs. And so we do have various pieces of legislation rather than just putting items in a platform. We actually write legislation. If you go to our website...
One thing that also really interests me is your focus on fighting corruption, because really, to tell you the truth, I'm not really sold on Medicare for all or any health plan, because the thing is that, right, in the end, implementation is key. Right now, they say that you can't turn people away from emergency rooms in case of an emergency, even if they can't produce an insurance card, right? Yeah, maybe the person's unconscious, they can't produce an insurance card, whatever. Guess what? That's exactly what happens anyways. So, right, the thing is that, right, whatever they call it, right, there's going to be a way for them to screw over the little guys. How can you guys, right, besides the making the laws and stuff, right, where are you guys going to assure accountability?
We're definitely for transparency and accountability, and we have even, if you go to our website, independentpartyofdelaware.com, you'll see legislation. We have not only just a statute, but a proposed Delaware constitutional amendment, state constitutional amendment, creating an office of inspector general. So we're really big on the process, and we need to create an office that gives the inspector general a wide latitude in rooting out, and the municipal as well.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So we're also big. One of our major platform planks is initiative, referendum, and recall, and that is the right of citizens to propose legislation and the right of citizens to vote on that legislation. We believe that the people should be the ultimate deciders of legislation. If the law is unjust, it should be left up to the people to overturn it. And we also believe in recall. If an elected official is incompetent or corrupt, they should be subject to a recall petition.
You know, I'm really
So,
happy with your level of expertise in this area. Just so you know, I'm actually working with candidates from around the country. One thing that's interesting is, like in the Green Party, right? Yeah, there's a split. There's like Howie Hawkins supporting them. There's a new group called Independent Green Party that actually there's candidates who are running, I think, in Oregon who actually split themselves between Libertarian and Green Party at the same time and maybe even running on both tickets. So to fuse you
interesting.
guys together and your like different levels of expertise in different areas, I think we can really build a strong comprehensive package. Now, are you guys running people in nationally, or is this really more of a state party thing? You guys got people running for House of Representatives in 22. You said 22 races.
Our last national candidate was Ralph Nader, who nominated him for president,
That's a good
and
one.
we
That's a good one.
saved him the trouble of getting 10,000 signatures in Delaware, so we just put him on our ballot. So it saved a lot of time and effort from his campaign organization. I had the pleasure of meeting Ralph Nader. I had to do an impromptu news conference on the steps of the state capitol. So that was fun.
I respect
So,
Nader. As a longtime activist, I just have one request for Nader, please. Yeah? Look, the thing is that Nader, the NIPERG system, right, it's cool, right? Yeah, you guys are involved in a lot of, you guys have a lot of work with a lot of universities and colleges. You have a strong presence, and I appreciate that. I ask you to reconsider your policy that the NIPERG satellite offices have to not get involved with fights at this local level and at the school level. You know, like fighting tuition increases. To tell you the truth, I recently emailed every single student government in New York City asking them why there was no talk about, you know, keeping tuition the same, right, destroying the tuition, automatic tuition increases, or, you know, lowering the cost of education, which is hugely corrupt, and the costs have gone up for no reason, without really review. So, you know, there's other, like, bases, right, such as I'm working right now with public housing. You know, they're trying to end public housing as we know it. I don't know how, if you're involved in that particular fight, but that's another huge population base that we're accessing right now, besides students, approaching them in ways that they aren't being talked to in other ways, right? All they talk about is bailout, 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 right? They just want to keep the corrupt system going that puts money in their pockets.
well, I think one of the solutions to homelessness is tiny houses, and there could be areas set aside where people can work on a common project, live in tiny houses, they can pay wages for
I'm sorry, you're getting very quiet again. I'm so sorry. I have you maxed out on my... I can't really turn you up any further on my system. I have you maxed out. There's nothing else I can do.
The tiny houses, I think, is a possible solution to homelessness. Things like that, but we have to do that at the local level because we have to rewrite planning and zoning regulations, things like that.
We also got to listen to people in public housing. But
Yeah.
you're right about that. Yeah. But how can we in what ways have you fought corruption, right? You're talking about, right, or what ways has this party taken on corruption? I know you said Nader, right? So I know you guys already have, I know you can say there's a lot of things you can talk about. People want to know, right, why can we trust you, right? You're talking about this integrity game. A lot of people talk the integrity game. What makes you guys stand out? Besides having fucking Nader on your, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
We're a party of methodology, and we are a problem-solving party based on innovation and creativity as opposed to preconceived political ideology. Take a look historically at ideology. Ideology killed, over the last 3 centuries, probably about 500 million or more people because political ideology does not survive its first contact with reality. We need to have a more reality-based approach to problem solving, and political ideology is definitely a failure, especially the extremist ideology. It tries to force people into a preconceived mold rather than taking a more flexible, organic, creative approach to things that's based on individual freedom and dignity. The problem is there's too much power in the hands of too few people, and we do need to decentralize and diffuse a lot of government institutions. They are institutions that have become corrupt and owned by corporate special interests at public expense. And that is why we need to give more power to the people. That's why we have the Independent Party of Delaware.
Okay. I know you're. Oh, I'm not live streaming this, but I'm actually like now on like going around on the website, right? Looked at some of the different things such as the platform, which I think is pretty cool. I'm really excited about the unified platform. Actually, I'm going to approach the different parties and suggest to them maybe a meeting where we combine the different existing platforms that we have. I see a lot of great things here. I'm on your essays section right now where it says that you guys, right, desire to create a, a fundamental institutional power shift without a prior paradigm shift. So this paradigm shift I see you guys talking about Newtonian physics, right? Yeah, science, right? Yeah. And that's cool. I do believe that we should be using more of a rational approach rather than an emotional approach, right? Instead of saying like, Trump bad, right? We should know specifically why, instead of just having some kind of politics of hate or, support without really clear understanding why. So I love this intellectual or this rational approach towards a problem solving. Very cool. Very cool. So how have you guys fought corruption? How has this party taken on corruption in any material way?
Well, we have gone to county council meetings and have challenged various proposals here and there. We have proposed legislation that creates an inspector general's office. We have also written state constitutional amendments. We call it the COVID-19 amendment, but we have a proposed constitutional amendment that would limit the governor's emergency powers to 60 days without the approval of the General Assembly. And right now, we've had 2 years of emergency, and our economy has suffered. Now they finally lifted it in order to save what was left of the economy, so they had to do that out of necessity. But had they had the chance, they would have still had a lot of restrictions that were literally making people's lives miserable and literally destroying the economy. So that's the kind of stuff we do. If we don't like something, we don't like the law, we'll write alternative legislation rather than just complaining to a state representative, who most of them are owned by special interests anyway. So the Delaware way, the Delaware way is kind of a cozy relationship between large corporations and politics at public expense.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, here in New York, right? I know we're fighting the corporate thing, but also we're fighting the political powers as well. Here in New York, I know the Green Party and the Libertarian Party are both co-suing the New York Board of Elections because they're created some rules that make it more difficult for them to gain. I think that they're off the ballot now, and I think they're suing for that reason. They have higher requirements in terms of signatures that they have to achieve to get to run for office. What about, is there any, do you see any possibilities of working with other third-party or independent groups, possibly to achieve, critical mass for your organization to get elected? I mean, it sounds like you guys already have strong numbers. If you guys already had Nader and 10,000 signatures and stuff, that's quite good. Damn. Yeah.
About people, in another 2 months or so, we should cross the 10,000 mark, and that's critical mass. They start to pay attention to when you get about 6,000 in Delaware, which somehow corresponds to the minimum demographic of a tertiary market FM station. But 6,000, they start to look at you, and then 10,000, it's the critical mass. As more and more people are fed up with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and their closed-loop, special interest-driven agenda, they will consider the Independent Party of Delaware. In fact, we have a large unaffiliated bloc that's officially listed as no party. It used to be listed as unaffiliated in Delaware, but they've changed it to no party. They're actually the third largest voting bloc, but we're the fourth largest voting bloc with the third largest party. But when people understand the power of withdrawal, because everybody keeps talking about draining the swamp, well, the swamp starts at the local chapters of the political party, and every person who registers to so-called major parties is a drop in the swamp, whether they know it or not, or whether they like it or not. And if they withdrew their individual drops of water, the swamp itself would drain. And that's why we need two new parties. The old parties have basically sold themselves, made the Faustian bargain with the corporate special interests, and have literally undermined our Constitution, our economic opportunities, and our individual freedom.
Yeah.
So that's a stifling effect on the American people.
That's why I'm so glad about independentcongress.com, that program that we have, because it allows you to retain your individual identity, right, as Independent Party of Delaware, right, but still participate in coalition, because unfortunately, right, you're exactly right, but people are entranced by, first of all, national problems, because on the TV that's what they see, and they think it's more important to fight Trump than deal with things locally, even though local laws impact their lives more, let's be honest. Number two, it's also easier to fight an enemy that's far away, like the person who's nearby, right? They might know people in your neighborhood, whatever. It's, it could be difficult to confront corruption in your own neighborhood. But honestly, if you want to clean things up, you can't just do the easy things all the time. You're gonna have real problems, and that's really what led to this whole mess. So you're absolutely right. And by the way, I'm a longtime activist. I like to point out, people who are watching right now to my series, Online Internet Activists, you'll see a difference between people who are a little bit newer in the game and the people that are more experienced in the game. By the way, I love the way that you were citing those specific numbers earlier, because people like that who know, that they've been presenting for a long time, and they have to know their stuff. And also this approach towards local politics, once again. So many people that's why the national media always talks about the national stuff, because that's easy for you to digest in 5-minute clips. That's ridiculous, okay? You need to gain the skills, and you need to build the base from a local level. So props out to you. So much respect. I'd have to say that, they say real recognize real, and you're taking the real steps needed to make things happen. And you already have made things happen. So I'm extremely excited to work with you. Thank you so much.
I'm going to work with you, too. You're taking a very creative approach. We do need a national forum, and the idea of independent parties of every state forming a national coalition and even a cross-party coalition is exactly what solves the problem. And we need to do that by having a creative dialogue, and we need to disabuse ourselves of false political ideological assumptions and get into the practical solutions of the matter. And that is what is scientifically correct, what is economically correct, and what actually works and what actually has common sense. And there is room for innovation. Our country was built on innovation. The formation of the United States itself was an act of innovation vis-a-vis absolute monarchy.
Yeah, they're choking out innovation with this corruption. You're absolutely right, and it's killing the American dream. So, do you have like a Twitter that you post on, or like how can people follow you? They want to keep, getting updates about what Independent Party of Delaware is up to, or your
friends of Facebook.
Facebook,
and
okay.
It's Friends of iPod.
Friends of iPod, cool. Okay, not the. Have you heard about the right to repair stuff going on?
Yes, and that is a cross-industry thing that goes all the way from farm tractors to smartphones.
Oh, know that deal. Cool. Well, Louis Rossman, props out to him. I haven't really gotten to work with him yet, but he's a local, and I'm excited to see his progress on that field. That's a rare win for us. To see one of us win, it's an uphill battle. We need your help. Independent Party of Delaware, is there a donation thing? I got $5 for you. Let me see right here, okay? You got $5 here. If you guys could donate, here's the $20,000. God damn. All right. Well, I don't got $20,000, but donate what you can. Wait. How? I gotta mail in my donations. Come on, yeah. I'm not mad at that. I gotta mail in my donations.
Well, yeah, you could do that. Our address is on the website.
You guys gotta open a Venmo or a PayPal or something. You know what I mean? Or something, yeah.
We have a Pyrrhix account that works. We've already set that up. It's called Pyrrhix.
I see it right there. The donate now. Oh, the Pyrrhix. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see that. Oh my God, I'm dumb. Yeah, make that bigger. Hey, I'm dumb. Yeah, but I see it now. Okay, I will be donating to this. Yeah, I'm not going to put my personal information on the screen, but you'll see that later today. All right?
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to a very creative intellectual relationship. I think we can have an ongoing dialogue here, and I think it's an idea whose time has come.
You know, actually, I can hook you up right now with one of the very few third-party professors in the nation named Jonathan Martin. We're actually should be running a. We actually had a. I had the third-party independent candidate forum in New York City. I ran that one. We also had a police reform with the blessings of Serpico. So we have some cool cross events coming up, and this national event. We already got people in Oregon. I know they do more like weed stuff, but you knew the right to repair stuff. Yeah, you know about the farm tractor stuff. You know the deal. That's cool, man. Yeah, so you're following a bunch of different activist stuff, huh? Cool, man. Cool. Right,
You could
go ahead.
replacing tubes, and they've got everything locked up where you can't even get into it, and that's actually diminished skills as a nation because things are becoming overly specialized. And the good old days, people learned electronics. They built their own ham radios. They really got in. You need to revive that spirit of repair. Do it yourself is a wonderful thing. People should be encouraged to build their own houses.
Yeah, and we will reawaken new electoral, populations. Right, the students will reawaken them. We're gonna also the right to repair people. They just gotta win. They're happy about that. They're politically involved. We're gonna also hope that they stay politically involved and help fellow allies fight for our liberties. Yeah.
Like the alternative medicine as well.
Absolutely. The medical industry is extremely corrupt. Yeah, we need actually just so you know, medical reform is a huge part of what I do. 50% of money actually in the market is actually spent on alternative medications because just people have so much less faith in the medical establishment of today. Half of the spending, actually per dollar amount, is spent on things classified as alternative to medication. That's crazy, right?
Well, somehow petrochemically based, I majored in chemistry, but the idea that petrochemically based medicine is more bioavailable than herbs and vitamins, minerals, and other natural supplements is a false assumption. The pharmaceutical industry, as an industry, literally creates 90% waste product and maybe uses 10% in product. So, yeah, there's a lot of topics associated with the big pharma. And as the names of drugs get weirder and weirder, effects are more intense and become more deadly. And even more common over-the-counter medications have side effects for things like hay fever, winds up with heart conditions, things like that. And that's because the FDA is basically a pawn of big pharma, and the same thing that goes for the CDC. That's why people have to elect the right people to take control over these regulatory agencies to act in the public interest for a change.
That's wonderful. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you have a clear, insight into the problems in the industry. You know, I mean, absolutely. The drug, they also play these games where I do a lot of this medical stuff. But I'm glad that you are involved in that. Yeah, that's wonderful that I have another ally there, because it's a huge problem. There's people's lives, people are suffering. So yeah. Wow, we've done so much work together. There's actually, just so you know, we also did FOIA requests, and we made the voter banks available to the public. That's another thing we did in New York. So maybe we'll try to find ways to get you guys more access to voter rolls, so that you guys can get access to the stuff that usually only consultants have. You know what I mean? And we can work together to try to really take over electorally as well, and get a win this time. So I'm very excited. Hey man, so anything else you want to share with the audience before we go, or?
Check out Independent Party of Delaware.com if you look a bit more theoretical. There's an original essay called Limits to Politics. You might want to read that. It's only 4 pages, but it's 6 volumes. It's one of those spontaneous creations that happened one day when I was in a very focused mood, and I started writing, and this essay came out and decided to put it on the website called Limits to Politics, and it talks literally about how traditional partisan politics failed and the traditional tripartite approach to government has failed. There's actually other areas of human existence beyond the legal system that have their own laws. Science, economics, and information have their own laws, and that entire system itself exists in culture. So we have to bring in the cultural dimension as well.
Okay. So Captain Purcell, I think that her that's over, right? So the next candidate for 2022, will she be running in 2022 as well?
She
Purcell?
may be. We don't.
Okay.
She hasn't. She was a very good candidate, and she's highly intelligent. She has a background in various fields, and she has a very keen mind.
Well,
And
look,
she has a lot.
anybody else who's running, right? She actually successfully went through the process of running before. That should make her a very high interest and of political value to people who are, thinking about running themselves. Someone who's been through the process. Their perspective is actually quite rare. Go ahead.
The Independent Party of Delaware has something that's a little different too. Delaware allows political parties to charge very exorbitant filing fees. That's like one and one half the salary of the office for the term. If you want to run for senator as a Democrat or Republican, filing fee is $10,000. Our filing fees are zero. Set them at zero. So we literally have free ballot access. One of the best kept secrets in Delaware.
That's good to know, man. So if you're thinking about running and you don't have $10,000, then you know where to go.
I ran for county council way back in the 90s.
That's a huge benefit because you have $10,000 to work towards your campaign. You start in $10,000 plus.
Yeah, literally the state of Delaware acts as the bagman for the Democrats and the Republicans.
I mean, that's how they do it, yeah.
You have to literally staple the check to the party to the application. And they nominate by primaries. We don't get equal protection under the law. It's kind of weird. It used to be that the parties would fund their own primaries. They would set up the voting machines and run their own primaries, so they were considered internal party elections. About 4 election cycles ago, the state took over the funding of the primary. And the filing fees were initially to cost to the parties of the primaries, but when they changed the law, they relieved the parties of that burden, but they still allowed them to keep these fat filing fees. So it's kind of a political plum that's definitely corrupt. So literally, if somebody wants to run for Senate on our ticket, they can save their $10,000 and buy their signs and buy their airtime and get their campaign running rather than having to pay what amounts to a legalized bribe to get on the ballot. The ballot belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to the party.
Cool. I actually see wrote a little about that on your iPod Facts. So, if you guys are checking out this video, definitely check out the website. There's quite a bit of information on here. With different storylines going on with this particular group. Independent Party of Delaware. There's a lot of groups that I'm going to be working with. But once again, you heard some intelligent and thoughtful and specific, right? I love specifics. When people make vague-ass statements, that shit's real disturbing. But when people give specific plans, that's when I start to feel more comfortable. So we heard specific plans about approaches to fix our system and to bring sanity back towards our government. Yo, man, that was Wolf, you said, right? Your name's Wolf?
Creative synthesis based on creative analysis. And you have to have specifics in order to get our points across. Because a lot of politicians get up on stage, they hand wave, they use emotional expression, but they don't really have a clear plan to get point A to point B and beyond. They literally need creative plan, specific. At the same time, we don't want to get overly detailed. We want to get the general picture, but we want to have a balance between.
I'll be honest with you, yeah?
So it's weird.
You said your name was Wolf again? What did you say your name is?
Nickname is Wolf. My name is Wolfgang, as in Mozart.
Okay, Wolfgang. Okay, that's cool, man. All right, so the thing is, look, I've been an activist for 20 years, yeah? And the thing is that a lot of the candidates that I see running, like I've interviewed quite a few of them, a lot of them don't really have this level of perspective. You get what I mean? They were successful in another field. They felt like being a leader would be cool. I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Interviewed candidates, and I've rejected based when they did not have a platform.
But I think that also we need to help them, right? Because I just don't think like a lot of people are like longtime activists like us. So a lot of times, sometimes we don't run. You know what I mean? We already found out how to be effective in our lane without a title. But, also when you have a long time in the game, sometimes it's harder to run for things, but sometimes it's easier. But,
Well,
yeah.
it's all part. The first thing we do is we sit down with them. We first of all, rule never prematurely announce a candidate.
Yeah, no, but I think the candidates need to, either way, right, yeah, the candidates need us too, right? When they go forward, right, yeah, we can support any candidate, even if it was a bad candidate, right? If we are involved in the process, he can only screw it up so bad. You know what I mean? Even if they're a good candidate, if they stop listening to us, it's a problem. Do you see what I mean? So the thing is that we need to continue to be part of the process going forward, with the candidates. So I want the candidates to understand that we're working with you as partners, not necessarily underneath, right? A lot of candidates have this kind of like, you're underneath me, you know what I mean? Versus like we're working together to solve these issues.
I believe that.
And they don't know as much, right? Because the thing is that they've never been on welfare. They've never actually been in public housing. So they don't actually know. So they still need to get community input and accountability. Once again, right? Yeah. A lot of times they're not accountable to the people that they're serving. That's a huge problem.
Well, the paradox is that politics is actually open. Candidates are always looking for good helpers. What I do rather than give campaigns is I literally time and brain work. I personally have designed radio spots for candidates. I've helped outline their platforms, push cards, design posters, and design various other media, and also the radio interviews and press releases and other forms of political support that political consultants can charge big bucks for. And we have a lot of overpriced and overpaid political consultants.
And consultants, right? These corporate, honestly, a lot of them are corporate too. They be manipulating shit behind the scenes. It's not cool. They be picking winners and losers and shit. You know what I mean?
That is because of the. I really do believe we have to revisit the Citizens United case. I don't necessarily equate money with free speech. Corporations are artificial entities. They're not natural human beings. Both.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Actually, a professor in college refused to accept my paper because I said corporations are not people. I said this is a dangerous precedent in my legal ethics class. He refused to accept that paper. That's okay. That's funny. Hey, man. That's on the side. Yeah, I love your approach, man. And honestly, you're an inspiration to a lot of other people out there that are starting independent parties. Yeah, go ahead.
Catalyzing a national discussion, and that is priceless.
Okay. Now the thing is that I've actually met there's several people who started like independent parties that I've met, right? Which is cool. It's quite a rare thing though. Maybe someone else, right, in another state is inspired by you and wants to start their own third party. How would they go about starting something like that?
Well, first of all, they have to download the election laws of their state, whatever title that is. Delaware is Title 15, and different states have different numbers, and maybe that's for different headings. But whatever laws that pertain to election in their state need to get that legal perspective first. And then usually those laws have the criteria for ballot threshold, ballot access. So that'll tell you how many people need to get ballot access. You have to find out that number, and then you literally need to recruit that many people, all the while getting your platform together. In fact, you should get your platform together first to try to use that to recruit people, because obviously people are not going to join a party that doesn't have a platform. stand for anything. It's
Yeah.
important to define the party to appeal to a given demographic, but you want to appeal to as many people as possible. We potentially appeal to about 80% of the people. We're not interested in the...
Yeah, here in the city, there's all kinds of weird archaic laws. You got to have like a coat of arms and all kinds of weird ass shit. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah.
Logo, coat of arms, that translates to logo or party device. Our party device is rather simple. It's the state shape of Delaware, and want to make it so it's unforgettable, and you can see it, going 65 miles an hour down the highway, knowing that symbol is our symbol, etc. We also have the...
How long you guys been around? I think I've seen this before, honestly. Like even a while ago. How long has this been around?
The party has been around since August 29th of 2000.
That's a long ass time. That's cool, man. All right, so yeah, I look forward to seeing you at our upcoming coalition meeting. I think it's gonna be great, man. Thanks again.
Definitely looking forward to that. I want to get our chairman and other people involved as well.
Absolutely. What's his name?
Our chairman is Mark Turley, and I can give you his number, and I can give you our other board of directors numbers if you want to get in contact with them.
I'm going to contact right now. I see Office of State Chairman has a phone number there. So yeah, I see Mark Turley, Catherine Stone Street Purcell. Cool, man. I see all this stuff here. This is great, man. Yeah.
Well, you already have it. Good.
Wolfgang, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. Yeah. Thanks again.
Looking forward to creative, working with the fight for freedom that all Americans, as Americans and as human beings, share. And I believe that the Independent Party of the United States can become a model. Feedback from Cameroon and Turkey and a few other countries. They like our platform. So there are people who are politically active in other countries.
We're more than 1 year out. And right now, I'm really serious about this. You know what I mean? I'm going to work every day till that day happens to make sure that our voices and our platform is heard this time instead of the stupid two corporate choices. Yo, thanks again, man. Yo, this is great stuff. You're definitely one of the tops of the people that I've talked to so far. Thank you.
4 hours a day, anytime you need to.
God bless, brother. Thank you, all right?
Thanks.
Have a good one. Peace.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
The truth of these
We
words
are on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get out with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.